Hello friends, welcome to today's video. Welcome if you are new. My name is Tanya and welcome to my little corner, I guess, of BookTube. And today I'm going to share a video. I'm going to be talking about books I just didn't really like or that I DNF'd or did not finish. So if you want to hear about those, let's get into this video and let's start. So again, I know, quick disclaimer, but if you like these books, like any of these books, good for you. It's obviously my own opinion, so don't take it personally. It's just for fun. So let's get into these things that I just didn't really enjoy, and I'll give my reasons why. And as always, down below, let me know, like, what is one book that you were either disappointed in or you did not like or like really hated, and tell me why. Like, it's kind of interesting to see. So I love watching these videos, and they're not really any particular order, just kind of wherever. So the first one, I guess I'll start because I have some in print and some are online. This one I'm going to be turning to the library which was a really big surprise for me, is Wilder by Christina Lauren. As you can see, I have not finished it, and honestly, I can't really get myself to finish it. And I've actually seen this one on quite a few people's lists because one of my all-time favorite books by Christina Lauren is like Love in Other Words, and some of their other books I really enjoy. But this just, I don't know, it wasn't horrible. Like, I don't think it's, like, again, I don't think it's horrible. It just is not what I was expecting at all. And I know it's supposed to be kind of like more fun. I think they wrote this during COVID, but it was just weird for me. I felt like there were such random plots. Like, it's supposed to be a romance, which, like, there definitely is, but then it's kind of like out in the West and like out in the desert, but then all of a sudden there's like this crazy like thing that happens. Like, I don't want to say it, but I was just like, what is happening? Like, it just kind of seemed almost like too far-fetched. Like, I don't know why it just didn't flow for me. Like, I just didn't get into the story and what they were trying to like give across. I just really wasn't into it. So yeah. And I know that it's like the middle of January and I might be a little bit late, but I'm uploading this video because honestly the first half of January I had like no voice. I'm still, if you can kind of hear, recovering. So I figured better late than never, but I'm still going to share this video with you guys. The next book, oh good lord, this series, I have not gotten through the rest of the series. I don't think I ever will, but I read the first Shadow and Bone. It took me months and months to even finish this book. I had to kind of make myself. It got a little bit better at the end. I heard so much about this, obviously, like over the past few years, but I was just so disappointed about this. And if you've seen any of my other videos when I did wrap-ups and I talked about this, I just really also I don't like, I think, the lack of kind of research. So it's based on Russian culture and Russian language, and I speak Russian. It's my first language, and honestly it was also kind of like disappointing because a lot of the grammar, I'm like, if you're gonna take a whole book and really base it, like a lot of it on that, I'm like, at least have it be grammatically correct. It just really bothered me, honestly, from a personal or things, references to certain things that are not really what they are. It's just, it was annoying. I really didn't like that. I'm like, then you shouldn't, I don't know. That's for me personally, that really bothered me. But also just the story, I felt like it was, it just kept going on forever. And I felt like it was so slow. I just didn't really seem to care about the characters either. So I'm kind of sad because I bought the other two books and I was like, this is why you don't buy the whole series. But I did, and I honestly don't think I'm going to read it. So I'm probably going to declutter these because honestly, I'm never going to read this again. I didn't like it. But the next one, this might, I don't know. Again, I feel like people have such varying opinions, but this book by Colleen Hoover, and I have read a lot of Colleen Hoover. I wouldn't say I'm her biggest fan ever, but I do like some of her books that are pretty good. I heard so much about this. I kept seeing it all the time last year, and I picked it up and I was like, okay. I gave this, I think, 2 or 3 stars. Here's the thing, did I read it, get through it? Yes, because I feel like Colleen Hoover is very good at that with her style of writing. For me, I think it's the trope. I really don't like the whole, like, it's just going to be physical. We're not going to fall in love. Like, we'll just, you know, do things together, but I swear I won't like you. And then I'm like, okay, we all know what's going to happen. Either one of you or both of you or someone's going to, like, fall in love and want to be with the other one. Like, it's just very, I don't like that trope. And I feel like most of the book is just the characters just being together and doing spicy things is basically what it is. And that for me, I'm like, that's not really, I don't know. It just, I don't like that trope. Yes, the ending of the story, like, where it kind of is more revealed about who the character is, because basically, like I said, there's a trope, was it Tate and Miles, and they're kind of having this secret relationship that they shouldn't be having, because I think he's like her brother's friend or something, and he's like, it's physical only. But then obviously like other things happen and people start getting the feels and stuff. Like, it's just, I don't know, I really didn't like it. So it's I think it's one of my least favorite books. I think there's one other Colleen Hoover, which maybe we'll transition to that next, but this one I don't like. And speaking of Colleen Hoover, the other book, which I think that one, yeah, it's definitely my least favorite. Sorry, you guys, I'm like saying, but my least favorite by her, I tried reading it, I DNF'd it, I could not, was Layla. This was on Kindle Unlimited. I was like, awesome, I'll read it. You guys, it was so, again, I don't know, my opinion, but I did not like it. It was so weird, because I think the preface here is, I didn't know this going on, it's kind of like a paranormal story, and I'm definitely not into those things. I honestly am like a baby. I feel like I get really freaked out reading anything like that, and so it really, like, I don't know, it was very weird, it was creepy. I like got scared reading it at night. I didn't like it, and then I was like, where the heck is this going? And so I just looked up the summary like of the plot and everything, and I was like, no, absolutely not. And I was like, I'm not reading this, good day. And I just was like, I'm done. Like, it was so disappointing, it was so weird and creepy, and I didn't like it. It just was not my cup of tea, so I DNF'd it. And I mean, I would give it, like, again, maybe I can't rank it or rate it because I didn't read it fully, but I would just give it like 1 or 2 stars. I really don't like it, and I have no desire to try to finish it, so that's a no for me on that one. And the next one, that is a fantasy. This is also part of a series, and again, I've read the first one, but I just don't really feel motivated to really read the rest of the series, and it was a little bit of a letdown for me, is Serpent and Dove. I love the cover. I like the concept of it. I thought it would be kind of cool. It's enemies to lovers. There's like a witch and a witch hunter, and I know there's a whole series. Like, and again, I love the covers. So like, the book hoarder in me wants to have the whole collection, but I'm also like, no, because I don't know, I just wasn't really, again, and it's not too little of a book, and I did take some things, I finished it, but it just was a little bit of a disappointment. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, but so it wasn't horrible, and I think you might enjoy it, but it's just something about it that it kind of did not hit the mark of the expectations that I think I had for it. And also just some of the words, like the language, because it's supposed to be a historical romance, and it's set like a while back. Like, I can't remember the exact time, but it's like not Victorian, it's even way before. That's like not medieval. Why can't I think of the time period? But it's like way back, and I felt like, I don't know, something about the language and how people were talking, it just didn't really seem to mesh with the world that was created, if that makes sense for anyone. But I don't know, again, I don't hate it, try it out, see what you think, but I was just a little disappointed by this. I did finish it, but not what I thought it would be. And this next book, because I'm kind of, I guess, made me think of fantasy. This was a more recent one too that I DNF'd. And I think a lot of people really like this series because, again, I kept seeing it a lot. But it is Crave. And I know it's like, right away it kind of gave me Twilight, you know, vibes. And I know they even mention it in the book. I don't know what it was. I felt like the characters, especially the main character, the girl, she just kind of drove me nuts. Like, it also just seemed really, like, far-fetched. Like, I get it's fantasy, like, obviously, and, like, because it has vampires and all these creatures, like, that's not my issue, but I felt like the story was just so, like, she literally, like, she arrives to school. It's about this girl. She goes to this school. She's human, I believe, but she goes to this school, and there's, like, vampires and all these other, you know, paranormal creatures and people and stuff that live there. And, like, right away, she's just in all this, I'm like, there's, like, vampires, and it's just, I don't know why the way it was written, like, I think it had the potential. Again, maybe people really love it, but I read it, like, I think I got like 60% of the way, and I was just like, no. Like, it's just, I don't know, she drove me nuts how she kind of talked, the character, and she just kind of seemed weird to me. I don't know why I didn't connect with her, and I was like, and the books are pretty big, so I was like, I cannot read. Like, each book is like 500-600 pages, and I was like, I'm not reading this for 600 more pages. Like, it just, I don't know, something about it really bothered me. In some ways, it's kind of fun, so I wouldn't say it's horrible, but it is not my favorite. It's not what I expected it to be, and it's just, I did not like it. I definitely will not be continuing with this series. I don't know, let me know your thoughts, but I was just not a fan. It was not my cup of tea at all. Other book that I also, this was a DNF for me, was The Midnight Library. I was listening to this as an audiobook in Russian, and I just, again, it ended up, because maybe I guess I didn't expect it, but it kind of just felt like more of like I get where it's going as fiction. It's supposed to be kind of like a self-help in a way, and that's just not, I don't know, I just really wasn't into it, and I felt like it was just kind of slow for me. I think I got like 30 or 40% of the way, and I don't know why, I just didn't really like connect to the character, even though you think you would, because it follows the story of this woman who I believe she tried to commit suicide, is what I was understanding from the book. So that's also kind of, it's kind of like a serious thing, but she's kind of in this library, this fantasy library, that's kind of showing her like what your life would have been like if you made these choices, and like how all these different choices, you know, how they affect you in the life you could have had. Like, I get where it's going, and the concept is kind of cool, but I really don't like how it's executed. It felt, I don't know why, do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't really feel a connection to the character, and I feel like for something especially so serious and like all these topics, like I feel like I should have had a connection, but I don't know why I just didn't, and I just felt like it was so slow, and I just had no desire to finish it. Honestly, I don't think I will. So that was a DNF for last year for me. And then this next one, and I might get a lot of, I don't know, hate for this, or people be like, what? And again, I will preface this with, I don't hate the series. I definitely don't hate it compared to some of these other books that I've mentioned. I'm like, meh. This one, I don't hate it. I think I rated some of the books in this series a 4 and a 3. The reason I have it on this list is because it's like kind of a disappointment for me, and I didn't want to finish the series. I DNF'd the last book, and that is the Air Folk series, or like The Cruel Prince. I know, like, but I just, again, I heard a lot about it. Again, I don't think it's terrible. I think I rated the first book 4 stars and the second, no, yeah, 3 stars. But it's just, I don't think, I'm not very much into fae fantasy books. And it just, I don't know, at least that one. And I actually enjoyed some of the political intrigue and kind of things, but I don't know why. I just, again, some parts of the book I was really into, like some of the action and the political intrigue, but I think, again, to me, it's not what I expected it to be, because I heard so much about it. And again, that's always, I feel like, the downfall of like hype, right? Because I didn't know what I expected it in my head, but I was just kind of let down. When I kept reading it, I kept thinking, I kind of kept anticipating that something like, oh, would happen, or like, I would like really be like, yes, I love this book, like solidify my thinking on it. But I just felt like I read the books, and then I was like, oh, okay, like, is it horrible? No. But is it like my favorite book or anything like that? No. I don't know. It's not my favorite, and I didn't really read. I didn't finish the 3rd one. I don't know. I just wasn't into it anymore, and I just didn't really seem to care. So unfortunately, that series was just a letdown for me. Maybe I'll finish the 3rd one to finally finish the series, but I don't know. It was, for last year at least, I did not finish it, and it was a little bit of a letdown for me. The last book that, I believe that's the last one. I have my list here. Yes, the last book that I will mention, this one, again, I saw so much, and I was like, okay, I wanted to go into this book and read it. It is called, it's the book They Both Die at the End. And again, I saw a lot of it. I knew it's like, people are like, it's sad. And I started reading it. I DNF'd it. Because it's just, again, I don't know how it was written. The concept of, again, I think that's about a lot of these books you'll notice, is that I have the kind of like a disconnect between what the concept is, and I think it's a really interesting idea. It's an interesting concept for a book, but the way it's actually executed and how it's written, and just the connection to the character. A lot of times when there's that whole trope of like a limited time, or things are like going to happen, and you like, I don't know how to explain it if I'm getting my words across, like, because the whole concept is that this boy finds out that he has 24 hours, I think, or within that 24 hours that he will die. And so, like, this other character as well, like in the book. And so I don't know. I get that it's like, it's within that time limit, but things still felt like rushed in an unbelievable way, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know how to explain that to you. It just really wasn't believable to me. And I just wasn't really like attached to the characters for some reason. And maybe I'll try it again, but that one was just kind of a disappointment to me. I don't know I guess I don't understand why it was such a hyped up book, because I just didn't really enjoy it, and I just didn't really, you know, I just didn't click. That's how it is with books. It just didn't click for me. So yeah. So there you have it. There's my list for 2022 of my least favorite or DNF books. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully with some more favorites and some more positive reads that I will get to. Thank you so much. Bye guys.